What's up, comic book fans? And welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me. And today, we got issue 3 of the Ghost Rider Final Vengeance. And if you guys missed any part of this 8-issue event, then I'll put a card to the playlist at the top of your screen. And I put up a link at the end of the video. But when we last left off with this series, Parker Robbins was revealed to have stolen the power of the Ghost Rider and is now taken to the streets of Chicago to run the city. And he started by recruiting a gang of vampires to run with him leading as their new top dog. And then the issue ended with Zebediah the Magician traveling back to the location where Johnny Blaze was last seen, and he had located him webbed up in the clutches of a gigantic spider. And one thing I like about this issue is that we get a chance to see how a villain would get down if he were to get the spirit of vengeance. So if you guys are ready to find out what else Parker Robbins is capable of, and if Johnny Blaze is able to regain the power of the Ghost Rider, then you guys already know what time it is. Let's get it. So this issue starts off with Johnny Blaze beginning to regain consciousness out in the forest in South Dakota. And right now he feels like hell after being held by that huge ass spider. But Zeb hands Johnny a flask so he can get him a sip of some of that special sauce and kind of start to recoup. And he needs Johnny to heal up quickly because they got a problem that needs to be dealt with. And his name is Parker Robbins. As we then pick up in Chicago with Parker Robbins as he approaches this restaurant. So there are 5 families in Chicago that control most of the businesses in the city. And every Sunday, the German mafia shuts down their boss's favorite spot for a private menu. And this restaurant is that spot. And inside is their matriarch, Gretel Wagner. So as they're going over their books and exchanging cash, Parker cuts the power, then rolls in and lights up everybody in this place, with the exception of Gretel. Her family controls the trains, and Chicago's the freight hub of the country, the main interchange between both coasts. So basically this would give them control over the pulse of the country. And the Spirit of Vengeance loved claiming the sins of these gangsters. And not only that, the vampires loved working with Robbins as well. He had made a deal with their leader, Helmuth, and as long as she and her crew helped him out, he'd give them a bloodbath. So when they all come in, he tells them to feed on all of them except for Gretel. He's got special plans for her. So as the vamps all clean up the crime scene and collect the cash and all the plans, he drags Gretel back to the meat locker. That's the vampire club from the last issue and the place that he's calling his home base right now. But the downside of having the Spirit of Vengeance surfaces for Parker when the spirit goes dormant, as he once again pukes up ashes. It's like the worst hangover of your life, he thinks. Like he's got a skull full of ashes and a stomach dripping battery acid. Under no circumstances can he let anybody see him like this, including Helmuth. But then we pick back up with Johnny Blaze, and right now he's experiencing the same effect as his body tries to recoup from that grip of the Spirit of Vengeance. But Zeb tells Johnny that he can still sense a little bit of the residue still inside of him from the spirit. But then the two start to hear howling behind them, and then they're approached by a pack of huge wolves, almost like the dire wolves from the Game of Thrones. And Zeb tells Johnny that there are some powerful forces that want him gone. But then we pick back up in Chicago at a downtown high-rise apartment as Parker's baby mama and his daughter walk up. Her mama tells her to not be impressed. But when they walk in, little mama doesn't really care about any of that, and she runs into her dad's arms. It's been way too long since she'd seen him, and she misses the hell out of him. And he tells her that daddy had to go away for a while, but he's back now. Then he tells her to go check out her bedroom down the hall, and that there's a present in there waiting for her. So she runs off while Parker stays behind and chops it up with the baby mama. But he's got a present for her too. It's a bag of cash with about 100 times more than the several years of child support that he owes her. And she wonders where he got all this money from. But he tells her that he's big time now, and he'd always told her that he'd get there one day. But then she tells him that he's delusional if he thinks that They're gonna move into this lavish apartment with him. But she's got it all wrong. This isn't his apartment. It's hers, as he hands her the keys. And as he leaves out, she tells him that he's messed up way too many times to win her back over. But he happily accepts that challenge. Then we go back over to South Dakota with Johnny Blaze and Zeb as they fight off that pack of wolves. And right now, without his powers, Johnny isn't much help. But he's got a shotgun on his bike. If he could just make it over to it. And as he crawls over to it, he's bitten in the shoulder by one of those wolves. But Zeb is able to blast that wolf away, even though it left Johnny with a nasty gash on his shoulder. But then Johnny notices that Zeb is in trouble. And then he tells Zeb that he was right. He does feel some of the spirit still inside of him, as he lights up at the sight of seeing someone other than himself in trouble. And now it's on. Meanwhile, though, we go over to the Illinois International Port, as another one of the 5 family leaders, Bao Fai, arrives. And this guy controls the black market, and tonight he's got a container of human organs coming in from India. But when one of the dock workers tries to open the container with the merchandise, his hand instantly burns up on the handle, and then the container door explodes open. And then the dock worker tries to explain that he had nothing to do with this, but Bao pulls out his pistol and ends that dock worker out of anger for his ruined $10 million worth of kidneys and livers and hearts that were in there. But then Bao's men notice that something is inside of that container, as Parker Robbins then walks out in full Ghost Rider form, holding the heart of an innocent man. And he tells Bao that his blood is Bao's sin. And then he lights up Bao's gang and tells Bao that he'll be spared from an easy death. It's a bunch of pain that awaits him. As we then pick back up at the meat locker, with Parker sitting at the head of the table like a king, while he's got his first 2 bosses down and hanging at his side. 3 more to go, and then this city will belong to him. And there's nothing that anybody can do to stop him. As we then get a glimpse of Johnny Blaze now lit up with the residue from the spirit of vengeance. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the issue. So what did you guys think about this one? I think having Parker now trying to support his kid kind of adds another dimension to this. But how do you guys think that this thing is going to go down? Do you think that Johnny Blaze will end up getting back to full spirit? And how many of you would actually like to see Parker keep it? I find this series so far to be pretty damn entertaining, and I'm also digging the artwork as well. Not only does Parker's version of the Ghost Rider look a lot like Spawn, I kind of feel like the art style is pretty similar too. Almost like they're making a conscious effort to snatch up some of the Spawn fans for this series. But I'm not even mad at it because I really like Parker's design when he's fully inflamed. Plus, seeing him take over all of the crime families kind of seems like a pretty dope direction to go in. And with all the work they're putting into this, it kind of feels like there may be some lasting effects from it. But I could be wrong, we'll see. But what do you guys think? Will this be a one-off for Parker? Or are they seeming like they're really building something here to you? But as always, if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel, and you'd like to support the channel, then you can do so by stopping by the Comics Icon store and picking you up some of this new merchandise, including the background music heard right here in this video available for download. Or by joining the Iconic Fan Club channel membership, and it'll be a link in the description to join. But with your membership, your voice will be heard during our weekly interactive live streams with yours truly, where we can talk about everything that's been going down in these issues, as well as the ones that you'd like for me to go over in the future and other comic book news. Plus, you guys will get loyalty badges, member shoutouts in these videos, and up to 20% off of Comics Icon's merchandise from the Comics Icon store. And we've got new tiers to the memberships as well, starting at just 99 cents. Or you guys can donate to the channel with a super thanks. And if you're not able to do any of that, then you can still be a tremendous help to the future of this channel by dropping a like, share, and subscribing to Comics Icons for more icons in the comic book world. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time.